The superstar Suyu had just finished a chest checkup and walked out of the hospital. She wanted to gather her courage and ask the handsome doctor, whose good looks couldn't be hidden even behind a mask, for his WeChat. But to her shock, he turned out to be her high school crush. The embarrassment nearly made her want to vanish on the spot. Meanwhile, a woman with long wavy hair lounged in the nanny van, scrolling lazily through entertainment news. At the top of the trending list was a headline: Suyu and Best Actor Han spotted entering the same hotel, not returning all night. Netizens were flooding her with insults, calling her a homewrecker and worse. Suyu scoffed. So boring. It's always the same cheap headlines. Can't they come up with something new for once? With that, her fingers flew across the screen as she quickly typed out a new post and hit send. The post read, "All you know how to do is curse me? Do you even know how impressive I am? I can stay in bed all day without eating or drinking." She even attached a provocative photo to go with it. Her manager, Sister Lin, nearly had a heart attack and rushed to stop her. "Don't start fighting with the haters again. Ignore those trashy outlets. What matters now is getting your checkup done." Fu gave an awkward laugh. Alright, I won't look anymore. They're just some petty trolls, not even worth being called rivals." At the hospital, Sister Ling handled the paperwork and told Suyu to head straight to the 3rd floor for her consultation. Disguised from head to toe, terrified of being recognized, she had just reached the door when a voice inside called out, "Next." Confused, she glanced at the photo on the wall. Wasn't Sister Ling supposed to book a female doctor? Why did she hear a man's voice? Or was she imagining things? Curiosity lingered, but she didn't dwell on it. She simply pushed the door open and walked in. Behind the desk sat a man in a white coat, his slender fingers flipping through patient files. The first thing she saw was this almost picture-perfect scene. But why did he look so familiar? Without lifting his head, the doctor asked flatly, "What's your name?" Still studying him cautiously, Suyu answered, "Suyu." The more she looked, the stronger the suspicion grew. Could he really be her high school crush, Xin Yanqing? The man froze for a moment when he heard her name. After lifting his head and pausing in silence, he finally asked where she felt uncomfortable. Suyu raised her hand and pressed a spot on her chest, whispering, "Here I felt a lump." Her mind spun. She'd heard that Xin Yanqing graduated from Peking University and later studied abroad. This couldn't possibly be him, could it? While she was still lost in thought, the doctor suddenly stood up, walked to the machine and said calmly, "We need to run a check. Come lie down." Nervously, Suyu moved to the bed behind the curtain. Then came another line from him, "Undo your bra." The 4 words hit her like static from an old black and white TV, buzzing in her head. Still, she had no choice but to comply and lay down obediently. Her mind ran wild. Was he really going to touch her with those long, pale fingers? A second later, she scolded herself. Why was her brain always filled with such trashy thoughts? As her imagination spiraled, the doctor remained utterly serious, operating the machine and conducting the examination. After a few minutes, he said flatly, "Done," and tossed her a few tissues to wipe off the contrast agent. In her heart, 10,000 curses stampeded by. Why did he feel like some irresponsible playboy? With his back turned, he straightened his coat and asked what she wanted to know, whether it was serious or still treatable. Typing quickly, he told her, "It's a painless nodule. No signs of malignancy." Relief flooded her chest as the heavy weight finally lifted, and she thanked him profusely. The doctor gave her another look up and down, then added, "But nodules don't form for no reason. You need to pay more attention to exercise and diet. Also, your BMI is underweight." As Suyu wrapped herself back up tightly, she nodded steadily and asked cautiously, "May I have your name? Perhaps a phone number so I can reach you if needed." Inside, she was chanting non-stop, "Don't recognize me, don't recognize me." But the moment the words left her mouth, the doctor's hand, still writing on her record, suddenly froze. Slowly, he pulled down his mask, lifted his gaze and said unhurriedly, "Miss Sui, have you forgotten who you wrote 120 love letters to back in high school?" Suyu's eyes widened in shock, her body turning to stone on the spot. Good heavens, it really was Xin Yanqing. Snapping back to reality, Suyu wanted nothing more than for the ground to swallow her whole. Just then her manager, Sister Ling, returned from the front desk and caught her standing against the wall like a punished schoolgirl. "What are you doing staring at the wall? Keep scratching and you'll dig yourself a mansion. Sister Ling narrowed her eyes suspiciously. Wait, did that doctor do something to you? Suyu barely noticed as another person stepped into the elevator. She lowered her head and brushed off the question with a laugh. Oh, come on, how could that be? He just recognized me, that's all. The doctor's actually a fan of mine. He's good-looking, sure, but way too shy. He didn't even dare ask for my number. She went even further, bragging, seriously, if he likes me, why can't he just say it? Do I need to teach him mouth-to-mouth how to confess? Of course, she'd never admit the truth, that she asked him for his number and he flat-out ignored her. Just as her tall tail reached the stratosphere, a man's soft cough sounded behind her. Suyu froze on the spot. Why did that voice sound so familiar? Her heart gave a violent jolt as she slowly turned her head, only to meet a gaze she knew all too well. Dear heavens, Xin Yanqing was in the elevator too. In that instant, her brain felt like it had been clubbed, her knees nearly buckling. And right then, Sister Ling had to make it worse, teasing, since he's your fan, why don't you ask him for his number? At last, the elevator reached the first floor. The moment the doors slid open, Suyu bolted out like she was running a 100-meter sprint. Bewildered, Sister Ling called after her, "What's the rush?" and hurriedly chased after her. In their haste, neither of them noticed a small item slipping out of Suyu's bag and falling to the floor. Xin Yanqing stood there quietly, watching the girl's retreating figure until she completely vanished from sight. Then his gaze dropped unintentionally to the ground, where a silver USB drive lay silently. Once they got in the car, Sister Ling asked suspiciously, "Why were you running like that just now? Anyone watching would have thought a ghost was chasing you." Suyu cleared her throat to cover the awkwardness. "I was just worried about missing our flight to Shenzhen." Seeing she didn't want to explain further, Sister Ling let it go. Suyu steadied herself, pulled out her phone and typed Xin Yanqing into the search bar. His profile was laid out in detail with an impressive list of credentials and academic research. Suyu couldn't help but marvel, he really was brilliant. He had pursued the path he dreamed of in his youth and reached a height few could ever attain. But wait, wasn't he supposed to be a surgeon? Why would he be working in a breast clinic? Still puzzled, she scrolled further down and found a photo of him in the lab. She had to admit, there was something captivating about the way he worked with such focus. Suddenly, Sister Ling's voice snapped her back to reality. "Yuzi, what are you doing? You're practically drooling." Suyu quickly wiped the corner of her mouth, only to realize there was nothing there. She had been tricked. Sister Ling chuckled, teasing, "What are you staring at like that? Look at you, a big star grinning at your screen like a creep. Why don't you use this time to copy the new script from the USB drive to your laptop? You'll need it on the plane." Suyu rummaged through her bag for a long while but came up empty-handed. "Where's the USB drive?" she muttered. Sister Ling's face turned grim instantly. "Check again. That thing can't be lost. The script is classified until it's released." Suyu dumped the entire contents of her bag, turning it inside out. Still nothing. She slumped against the seat in despair. "This is bad, it's really gone. I must have dropped it on the way out." Sister Ling nearly lost her breath at that, needing a long moment to calm herself before finally waving a hand. "Forget it, I'll think of something. You just focus on getting ready for the press conference in 2 days." Suyu stayed silent, replaying every moment since she left home. Then, like a bolt of lightning, it hit her. Could it have fallen when she rushed out of the elevator? That night, Suyu flew straight to Shenzhen and returned to her luxurious villa in Xiangmi Lake, one of the city's most expensive neighborhoods. Just as she unlocked the door, her phone buzzed with a call from an unfamiliar Beijing number. Assuming it was a mistake, she ignored it. After an exhausting day, she finally relaxed, soaking in a hot bath and putting on a face mask. It felt like pure bliss. Suddenly, her phone beeped twice. Lazily checking the screen, she saw a text from an unknown number. "You dropped something. It's with me. When can you come pick it up? Xin Yanqing." That name hit her like a thunderclap, so hard it nearly cracked her face mask. She shot up from the tub, wrapped herself in a towel, took a deep breath and hurriedly dialed back. The line connected almost instantly. Holding her breath, Suyu stammered, "It's me, Suyu." The voice on the other end replied calmly, "I know. The thing you mentioned," she asked quickly, "is it a silver USB drive?" Xin Yanqing gave a low hum. "Found it in the elevator. When are you coming to get it?" Flustered, Suyu paced back and forth in the bathroom. I'm so sorry. I've already flown back to Shenzhen. She hesitated, then offered, how about this? You give me an address and I'll arrange a courier to pick it up. Could you please mail it for me, Dr. Shi? Xin Yanqing's voice stayed cool. No problem. Just send me your address. If that's all, I'll hang up now. I'll send you the address right now, Suyu began, but before she could finish, her foot slipped. With a sharp scream, she landed hard on her backside. Her phone flew from her hand, and on the other end came Xin Yanqing's urgent voice. What happened? Did you fall? Tears welled up from the pain as she clutched her bruised elbow, muttering through clenched teeth. Damn floor. I just got out of the shower and it hurt like hell. Hearing the words, just got out of the shower, Xin Yanqing paused for a few seconds before asking, where did you hurt yourself? Do you need me to call an ambulance? Picking up her phone and forcing herself to sound calm, Suyu replied, no need. I just fell on my butt. On my hip. At that, silence instantly filled the line. Suyu wanted to die on the spot. She had dreamed of appearing gentle and graceful before her crush, yet she had completely ruined the image. Moments later, his low, steady voice came again. Don't panic. Try to get up slowly, see if you can move. Following his instructions, Suyu gripped the sink and carefully pulled herself upright. Staring at her bedraggled reflection in the mirror, she felt the pain ease slightly. I'm up now. It's nothing serious. Thank you. I'll hang up. Deep down, she could only admire her own talent for disaster, managing to embarrass herself in front of her dream man over the phone. And with the movie premiere tomorrow night, how was she supposed to wear a gown with her arm bruised like this? Just then her phone chimed. Another message from Xin Yanqing popped up. Apply some ointment first. I suggest you get it checked at the hospital tomorrow. If you feel unwell tonight, call me anytime. For a moment, an odd warmth rose in Zuyu's chest. Was he actually worried about her? But she quickly shook the thought away. He was a doctor. Worrying about patients was only natural. Sure enough, his next message read, don't forget to send me your courier address. Early the next morning, her assistant Xiaoyu arrived with a love breakfast, bubbling with excitement over a breaking news story. A truck driver got into an accident. His body was pierced straight through by a metal pipe. Can you believe that? It's horrific. Suyu jolted fully awake, blurting, what happened to him? Did they save him? Xiaoyu set the dishes on the table and said, not sure yet, but it doesn't look good. Then Xiaoyu caught sight of the bruise on Zuyu's arm and gasped. Boss, what on earth happened to you? You need to see a doctor right away. Zuyu waved it off carelessly. Come on, it's just a scratch. By the time I get to the hospital, it'll probably heal on its own. 3 dark lines practically slid down Xiaoyu's forehead. Weren't you supposed to be the delicate, glamorous movie star? What kind of star ends up like this? Just then, Sister Ling's call came through. The moment Suyu picked up, her manager's roar nearly blew out the speaker. Check Weibo right now. Damn it, is Han Lixing spouting nonsense on purpose? Suyu hurriedly opened the app and saw that Han Lixing had reposted the trending gossip. His ambiguous reply read, Miss Suo is indeed hard to resist. But we're just ordinary friends. We happened to meet at the hotel by accident. Please don't misunderstand. Fury shot through her, and with a sharp crack, the cup in her hand shattered. Hard to resist, my ass. Doesn't this make the rumors sound even worse? She wasn't the type to swallow her anger. Without hesitation, she fired back. Resist what? Do I look like a swamp you can sink into? Within minutes, netizens had catapulted her back to the top of the trending list. Xiaoyu, about to ask why her usually calm boss was suddenly so quiet, glanced over and saw her going full throttle against trolls online. Damn, her clapback speed is insane, she thought. Onlookers flocked in, treating it like the drama of the year. The comments section grew rowdier by the second. Suyu let out a cold snort. After years of dominating the internet, she had mastered the art of tearing people down without a single curse word. Taking down a few petty trolls was child's play. But when she saw the headline, truck driver successfully rescued, trending, she froze. Wasn't that at Beijing First People's Hospital, the very place where Xin Yanqing worked? Watching her gossip scandal and his heroic surgery share the same trending list, Suyu felt a wave of indescribable awkwardness. Then again, she thought someone as busy as Xin Yanqing probably wouldn't even notice such things. Meanwhile, inside the operating room of Beijing First People's Hospital, a grueling 6-hour surgery had finally come to a successful close. Outside, the patient's family bowed repeatedly, showering the doctors with gratitude. Xin Yanqing leaned back against the wall, resting for a long moment before a faint smile of relief finally appeared on his tired face. Just then, the deputy director walked over holding a document, smiling. "Excellent work, everyone," he continued. "There's something else I need to inform you. An international medical summit will be held in Shenzhen. The 2 papers you published in top journals both won awards. The organizers have invited you to give a keynote speech. You should head home and pack right away." Seeing the summit's location was Shenzhen, Xin Yanqing immediately thought of Suiyu's USB drive. She needed it delivered there anyway. He decided to take it along and hand it to her in person. Late at night, just after getting off the plane, Xin Yanqing received a message from a friend. "You made the trending list. Reporters even came to the hospital this afternoon, but too bad the lead surgeon, you, wasn't there." Xin Yanqing didn't care much about such things. He casually opened the screenshot of the trending page, only to unexpectedly spot gossip about Suiyu and a certain celebrity with the surname Han. Staring at those headlines, he froze for a moment. Was Suiyu's love life really this colorful? Meanwhile, the new movie's press conference was in full swing. The female lead, Qiao Anqi, stepped onto the stage like a sweet and charming princess. Just then, a Rolls-Royce glided up to the venue, instantly drawing countless eyes. With such a grand entrance, everyone assumed it must be a big-name star or the director arriving. When the car stopped, the driver respectfully opened the door. The next moment, a silver, jewel-studded stiletto touched down on the red carpet. The woman stepping out was none other than Suiyu, draped in haute couture and glittering jewels. Though she was only the 3rd female lead in the film, her aura and stunning beauty instantly reduced the so-called heroine to nothing more than a background prop. Reporters couldn't help but sigh. This level of beauty was unreal. Suiyu casually flipped her hair, a smug thought rising in her mind. My entrance was made to steal the spotlight. Watching Suiyu in a gown she herself didn't even have the privilege to order, Qiao Anqi could only seethe with envy and resentment. As soon as Suiyu finished signing autographs and stepped up for interviews, a reporter fired a sharp question. "Miss Sua, did you interfere in Best Actor Han's marriage?" Next to her, Qiao Anqi let out a meaningful sneer. "Idiot. Dressed so flamboyantly, you're the perfect lightning rod to take the heat off me." Suiyu instantly caught the malicious curve of her smile. "Want to see me crash and burn? Keep dreaming." She flipped the switch to full-on acting mode, replying earnestly, "Oh, you mean this gown looks amazing on me?" The reporter shook his head quickly. "No, I was asking about your relationship with Best Actor Han." With exaggerated innocence, Suiyu spread her hands. "Ah, so you're saying it doesn't look good?" No matter how the question was twisted, she dodged everyone with playful misdirection. On the sidelines, Qiao Anqi, who had been waiting gleefully for drama, was now fuming with frustration. After finally surviving the press conference, Suiyu changed out of her gown and was ready to head home. But in the hallway, she suddenly spotted a man leaning against the wall. It was none other than Han Lixing, the trending movie star she'd been rumored with. The last thing she wanted was to deal with him, especially if he'd run to Weibo again spouting nonsense. She tried to walk straight past as if he didn't exist, but he stretched out an arm, blocking her path. Suiyu frowned. "What do you think you're doing?" Bracing one hand against the wall, Han Lixing smirked roguishly. "Scared? Who knew fate would keep throwing me in the path of the great Miss Sua?" Suiyu scoffed. And then, "Can I go now?" His gaze bored into her. "What if I said no?" She paused for a few seconds, then spat out coldly, "A good dog knows not to block the road." As if bewitched, Han Lixing reached out to touch her face, chuckling. "Even when you curse, Miss Sua, you're charming. Want the lead role in my next film? All you have to do is spend tonight with me." His words cut off with a scream as Suiyu, a certified judo red belt, slammed him into the ground with a brutal shoulder throw. Looking down at him like he was nothing but a clown, she said icily, "Do you not understand human language?" Han Lixing's face turned livid as he lay sprawled on the floor. "Suiyu, you'll pay for this." Rubbing her wrist from the throw, she replied with casual indifference. "My business doesn't need your concern, Best Actor Han. Clearly we're not a good match." She had barely taken 2 steps when Han Lixing's ragged voice rasped after her. "Quit pretending you're so pure. I know exactly who your sugar daddy is. My friend saw you with some 70-year-old old man at an overseas hotel. Face it, when there's money involved, you'll do anything." Realizing who he was talking about, Suyu actually laughed. "That's right. Even at 70, he's still my treasure. And you're not even worthy of carrying his shoes." Hearing himself compared unfavorably to an old man, Han Lixing's face turned green with rage. Just as the standoff hit a dead end, Qiao Anqi suddenly appeared, gasping dramatically, "Brother Lixing, what's going on here?" Struggling to his feet, Han Lixing flipped the script, snarling, "So you tried to seduce me just to land the female lead role. I never thought she'd stoop this low." The moment he said this, several industry insiders standing by Qiao Anqi erupted in shock. The so-called best actor truly lived up to his title. His expression was the picture of righteous fury and disgust. "She begged to be with me. When I refused, she clawed at my clothes. This woman is desperate. She's lost her mind chasing fame." Suyu clenched her teeth, trembling with anger. "Han Lixing, you really are a first-class actor." Fanning the flames, Qiao Anqi chimed in, "If you want to be famous, earn it with real talent. How could you treat Brother Lixing like this?" But before Qiao Anqi could finish, Suyu cut her off in fury. "Are you blind? He was the one harassing me. You actually believe the garbage coming out of his mouth." A few people hesitated, murmuring, "But Brother Lixing is a senior. He wouldn't lie, right?" Suyu let out a bitter laugh. "So just because he's a best actor, that makes everything he says the truth?" The crowd fell silent. Sometimes silence itself is the same as silent agreement. In that moment, Suyu saw it clearly. These people would side with Han Lixing no matter what, even if they knew the truth. After all, he was the untouchable best actor. Still, she vowed to herself, one day she would make them pay the price. Just then, a side door swung open and a tall figure stepped out of the twilight. The moment Suyu saw that cold yet strikingly handsome face, she froze in place. It was Xin Yanqing. Bathed in a soft glow, Xin Yanqing walked straight past the so-called movie leads and stopped in front of her. "You wouldn't answer my calls, so I had no choice but to come in and find you." Suyu was still reeling. Wasn't he supposed to be in Beijing? How could he be here? Xin Yanqing's eyes swept over Han Lixing's wrist. His tone was sharp. "You lied just now. From the marks, it's clear this was caused by her acting in self-defense." Han Lixing's face darkened instantly. "And who the hell are you to spout nonsense here?" Suyu's fiery temper flared. Stepping forward, she stood protectively in front of Xin Yanqing. "Watch your mouth. He's my boyfriend." The entire room fell silent at her words. Han Lixing stared at her in shock, utterly dumbfounded. Suyu sneered. "What's the matter, best actor Han? Don't you understand plain language?" Just as she was about to pull Xin Yanqing away, his deep voice rumbled in her ear. "I'm a doctor. I suggest you get checked at the hospital as soon as possible. Although Mr. Han was the one harassing first, my girlfriend may have hit a little too hard. We'll cover the medical expenses." Now it was Suyu's turn to be stunned. Her dream man had not only played along, but openly declared her his girlfriend. After speaking, Xin Yanqing turned and naturally took her hand, leading her out. The others looked at Han Lixing as if he were a joke. His face twisted with embarrassment, yet he still blustered, "What are you staring at? She was the one seducing me." But the truth needed no explanation. Everyone already knew who was lying. Hand in hand, they strolled down a palm-lined street. Suyu glanced at their interlocked fingers, her cheeks warming as ripples stirred in her heart. Xin Yanqing stopped walking and at the same time both of them spoke. "You?" After a pause, Suyu said softly, "You first." Xin Yanqing, looking slightly uneasy, let go of her hand and murmured, "I'm sorry." An emptiness tugged at her chest, so she quickly forced a smile. "Thank you for helping me out today. I don't even know how to repay you." His reply was as brief as ever. "No need. It was nothing." Suyu rubbed her hands together behind her back, her voice awkwardly small. "About what I said earlier, you being my boyfriend. Please don't be upset. I only said it so that Han wouldn't bother me again." Xin Yanqing was silent for a moment, then slowly answered, "I know." Suddenly, as if remembering something, Xin Yanqing pulled a USB drive from his pocket and handed it to her. Suiyu asked in confusion. How did you even know I was at the event? Deep down she wondered, surely he hadn't come all this way just to deliver it? Xin Yanqing explained simply, there's a medical summit here in Shenzhen. I brought it along and got in touch with your assistant. A faint unease stirred in her chest. Then, when did you get here? She pressed. He glanced at her, hesitated, then said, 70-year-old treasure. Suiyu's cheeks flamed red instantly. She waved her hands frantically. No, Dr. Shi, you misunderstood. That old man is actually my... Before she could finish, he cut her off, expression unreadable. It's fine. That's your business. You don't need to explain to me. The words lodged in her throat. Just then her phone chimed with a new message, her assistant asking where she was. Xin Yanqing spoke politely. If you have things to do, I won't keep you. Suiyu blurted out without thinking, No. My assistant said the car broke down, so I'll just grab a taxi back myself. Quickly pocketing her phone, she thought, there's no way she'd let her dream man walk away so easily. Summoning her courage, she asked, would you like to take a walk by the seaside? Get some fresh air. But he replied flatly, at night it's not sea breeze, it's land breeze. Suiyu's lips twitched. Seriously? So blunt? With matchmaking skills like yours, even steel bars would snap instead of red strings. By the seaside, Suiyu cleared her throat and asked casually, Dr. Shi, you're so handsome, at your age shouldn't you already be married? Xin Yanqing paused, then replied evenly, not yet. For me it still feels a little early. Unwilling to give up, she pressed on. Then all these years you've never had a girlfriend? He was silent for a moment before finally saying, there was, sort of, a blind date my family arranged. But with my workload it eventually went nowhere. Somehow, Suiyu felt the breakup wasn't just because of work, but she didn't push further. Instead she nudged a pebble with her toe and said, doctors really do have it tough. One phone call and no matter where you are you have to rush back immediately. As she spoke she suddenly remembered the hospital news that had gone viral. She couldn't help but add, I saw a report about a driver impaled by a steel pipe. Your hospital saved him, right? It was such a critical case. I don't know which doctor performed the surgery, but that's incredible. Saving not just him but his whole family. Xin Yanqing stiffened slightly, then said gently, it's what we're supposed to do. A successful surgery is never the credit of one person alone. Suiyu pouted. The way you said that, almost like you were the one who operated. The chief surgeon must have been the real hero. Xin Yanqing didn't answer, only lowered his head and smiled faintly. For a moment Suiyu was entranced. The man who was always so serious, so distant was smiling, and he looked devastatingly good when he did. When Xin Yanqing finally lifted his gaze toward her, Suiyu hurriedly looked away and stammered, actually, I trended on social media that day too. But all those rumors online are fake, you mustn't believe them. A flash of the screenshots his colleague Lao Li had sent crossed Xin Yanqing's mind. He said calmly, I don't look at that stuff. If it's false, then there's nothing you need to explain. The words slipped out of Suiyu before she could stop herself. I don't care what others think, but I care what you think. The second half caught in her throat unsaid. She realized she was drowning in the beauty of her dream man, while he showed no special reaction at all. Gritting her teeth, she decided to put on a show of fragility. I shouldn't have told you all this. The entertainment industry is too dark. Getting bullied like today, it happens all the time. Inside she thought smugly, I look this pitiful, you'd better feel sorry for me. Xin Yanqing, utterly baffled by her sudden act, froze for a moment before pulling a handkerchief from his pocket and handing it to her. Suiyu instantly slipped into her Lin Dayu mode. Playing weak. Easy. She'd outdo the green teas by becoming one herself. Taking the handkerchief, she dabbed at her fake tears and murmured softly, thank you. Just as she debated whether to go in for a dramatic hug, urgent shouts rang out ahead. Move. Move. Make way. In the next instant, someone yanked her arm hard, sending her crashing forward. And then the classic drama cliché unfolded. Suiyu's head buzzed blankly as her whole body froze. What the... She had just accidentally kissed Xin Yanqing. Two teenage cyclists who had nearly crashed into them, glanced at the pair still sprawled on the ground. One muttered in confusion, it was just a bike. Do they have to be so dramatic? Are these two filming some idol drama or what? Stiff with embarrassment, Suyu scrambled off Xin Yanqing. He, recovering first, looked up with an apologetic glint in his eyes. Just as he was about to apologize, Suyu recoiled like she'd seen a ghost, stumbling several steps back. Then without a word she bolted. Xin Yanqing was left standing alone in the night breeze, wanting to say something but unable to. Was she crying? He wondered. Suddenly, click. Someone had secretly snapped a photo of him awkwardly getting to his feet. At the same time he caught sight of a flash flickering from a camera hidden in the trees. His brow furrowed slightly as if piecing something together. Back home in a daze, Suyu collapsed onto her bed and burrowed under the covers. Her heart was still pounding out of control. Had she really just kissed Xin Yanqing? Who would have thought? The once unreachable high school senior, the campus legend who swept up award after award, the untouchable genius Xin Yanqing, had just been tainted by her. Replaying the kiss in her mind, Suyu squealed, rolling around in her blanket like crazy. Sorry not sorry. Once she finally calmed down, she opened her contacts list, debating whether to add Xin Yanqing on WeChat. Staring at his profile photo, that cold, abstinent-looking professional headshot, she held back and told herself she'd wait a little longer. The next morning, while Suyu was burning calories on the treadmill, her phone suddenly buzzed. It was a video call request from her family's Supreme Emperor. The moment she answered, an energetic old man with a pipe in his mouth appeared on screen. You've been trending a lot lately. What's going on? Did someone bully you? Suyu wiped the sweat from her forehead, exasperated. And what's with that flashy outfit again? Off to strut around somewhere? You never look like a proper grandpa. No wonder people mistake you for my sugar daddy. After thinking for a second, she shrugged. It's just some married guy trying to stir up rumors with me. You've got plenty of connections, right? I heard he's done some shady things behind the scenes. Expose him for me. I don't want to see his face again. She deliberately left out the part about Han Lixing harassing her. Her family already disapproved of her being in showbiz. Better not give Grandpa more to worry about. But the old man was far too sharp. That's all. You haven't been bullied in any other way. Suyu flexed the little bit of muscle on her arm. Of course not. I'm a 10th dan in judo. Who'd dare mess with me? Grandpa waved her off with disdain. Alright, I get it. This kind of small fry I can deal with in one sentence. Next time bring me something with a bit more challenge. Suyu pouted when suddenly her grandfather switched topics. By the way, you're not that young anymore. Time you found yourself a boyfriend. Don't you have anyone suitable around you? Her mind blanked for a second, only for an image to surface. The white-coated, dazzlingly brilliant Dr. Xin Yanqing. The old fox instantly caught her pause. Could it be she already has someone in mind? Suyu mumbled vaguely. No way. And even if I did, he probably wouldn't be interested in me. Grandpa slapped his thigh in excitement. What nonsense. My precious granddaughter. Who'd dare refuse you? If you really fancy him, I'll tie him up and bring him over myself. Suyu nearly burst out laughing at the image of her dream man tied up like a zongzi. Grandpa, I'm not some bandit chief kidnapping grooms for the bridal chamber. These things need to be mutual. The old man immediately pulled a gossiping face. Oh, so there really is someone you like. Who is he? Where does he live? How old is he? How many people in his family? Overwhelmed by his interrogation, Suyu thought bitterly, I'd like to know the answers myself. She hurriedly deflected, I've got something to do, talk later, and hung up the call. Right after, her phone chimed again. Grandpa hadn't given up, sending another message. Cut the excuses. Send me a photo. I need to see if he's worthy of my precious granddaughter. Unable to stand his relentless spamming, Suyu hesitated for a few seconds before finally sending a picture of Xin Yanqing in his lab coat, focused on his research. On the other end, Grandpa seemed to zoom in and scrutinize the photo for ages before finally replying. He's a doctor? Suyu answered with a deadpan. His reply came back instantly. A doctor, perfect. The young man looks good. You must win him over. Suyu's lips twitched. Those cutesy emoji he added. She had no idea which little girlfriend had taught him that. Her grandpa really was an adorable old rascal. Even after all these years, just being reunited with her high school idol still made her heart race uncontrollably. But being together, she had never truly considered it before. Could it be time to give it a try? Just then, her assistant Xiaoyu burst into the gym, waving her phone frantically. Boss, look, there's more drama online. Taking the phone, Suyu saw a gossip account boldly claiming her relationship with Best Actor Han was confirmed, even posting photos of the two supposedly hugging in a hotel room. She frowned at first, then let out a cold laugh. Another clown jumping out for attention? Looks like someone's overdue for a lesson. She immediately went on the offensive, posting, "Let's just say if it isn't me, can you handle the consequences?" The blogger arrogantly replied, "I swear it was you two spending the night in Kyoto. If not, I'll livestream myself eating crap." Suyu's lips curved into an icy smile. Exactly the words I was waiting for. Xiaoyu clicked her tongue from the side. Her boss usually looked so soft and delicate, but when she turned ruthless, it was downright intimidating. Without hesitation, Suyu reposted the thread. Everyone saw his promise. "Please make sure you keep your word." The internet instantly erupted, with netizens grabbing popcorn and waiting for the show to begin. Suyu had just hinted to her grandfather to help deal with the actor who harassed her. Barely half an hour later, her phone buzzed with a notification. She couldn't help but marvel. Grandpa's efficiency was terrifyingly fast. Looked like Han's scandal was about to blow sky high. Beside her, Xiaoyu suddenly shouted in anger. "How is this Han Lixing dragging you down again, sis?" Suyu never expected the scumbag to post something like this on Weibo. "I've let down my wife and my fans who love me. I admit that I ran into Zuiyu at the hotel that night and she came to my room on her own. She tried to seduce me, but in the end, I held the line and stayed true to my morals." The post sent shockwaves across the internet. Even Zuiyu herself was stunned. Was this bastard insane? Exposing himself like this? Xiaoyu, panicking, immediately reached for her phone to call their manager, Sister Ling. Just then, the door slammed open. Storming in with fury was Sister Ling. "I happened to be nearby and saw the news on the way. What the hell is Han Lixing thinking posting that kind of Weibo? I'm calling his manager right now." She immediately launched into a tirade. "What's with that ridiculous statement? Trying to drag my artist down with you?" That night at the hotel, Suyu had witnesses for her whereabouts and there's surveillance footage. Do you people not realize baseless slander like this could land you in court? Strangely, Suyu wasn't raging this time. Instead, her brows knitted in thought. Could it really be that, just because I rejected him, that scumbag is lashing out to ruin me? But this kind of hurt the enemy 1,000, wound yourself 800 tactic doesn't fit a selfish coward like him. Maybe he's trying to distract everyone to cover up something even darker. Xiaoyu, who had been silent till now, suddenly blurted out, "What if he did something really unethical?" Suyu slapped her thigh approvingly. "Now that's the spirit, young one. Think even bolder." Sister Ling, after hanging up on the other party's side. She'd seen too much of this industry but still cautioned, "Are you suggesting he broke the law? You can't just throw that around without proof." Suyu instantly switched into detective mode, eyes gleaming. "There's only one truth. Leave this to me, I'll solve it." But Sister Ling promptly doused her with cold water. "Solve it? You're just a third-tier actress. If this scandal keeps snowballing, say goodbye to your endorsements and that new script." Suyu nearly spat blood. "Sis, you're brutal. How can you look down on your own teammate like that? Fine then, watch closely. Your dear grandma here is about to turn the tide and snatch victory from the jaws of defeat." After that, Suyu called her grandfather to confirm a few things, while Sister Ling was still furiously demanding Han Lixing's studio give an official explanation. Once she hung up, Suyu casually opened Weibo, her fingers flying across the screen. No one knew what she was posting this time. When Sister Ling turned around, she caught the little troublemaker red-handed. Grabbing her ear, she scolded, "Didn't I tell you not to touch your phone?" She then told Xiaoyu to contact the hotel to see if they could pull the surveillance footage from that night, before turning back to ask, "Suyu, what did you just post?" But there was Suyu sprawled on the sofa without a care in the world, already fast asleep. Helpless, Sister Ling opened Weibo herself, only to see the cryptic line her artist had left behind. "Hell is wide open, but the devil walks among us." Early the next morning, Suyu was shaken awake by Sister Ling, who had dark panda eyes but was buzzing with excitement. "Suyu, wake up. Big news. Check the headlines." Half asleep, Suyu mumbled, "Sis, spare me, what now?" Sister Ling threw her arms around her. "This is a total reversal. Unbelievable. You're basically the goddess of luck. Suyu patted her head affectionately. Didn't I say you worry too much? Trash like that, even heaven couldn't stand it. And look, he's been taken care of. Turns out, while most netizens were asleep, a bombshell dropped online. An official account announced that after a tip from concerned citizens, a certain famous actor surnamed Han and a musician surnamed Chen were caught breaking the law in a hotel and had been detained. Meanwhile, it was confirmed that actress Swa had indeed stayed at the same hotel, but all the photos circulating online were false. Nobody expected it. The mighty Best Actors empire collapsed overnight. Netizens were stunned, declaring their worldview shattered. So you thought back to last night's phone call. Without her Supreme Emperor, Grandpa pulling strings, escaping this scandal would have been nearly impossible. But then her inner little devil awoke. With someone like Grandpa backing me, no one who tries to mess with me will get away scot-free. Opening Weibo again, she was bombarded by countless updates. Skimming through, she saw something unprecedented. Waves of apology messages flooding her inbox. As for the blogger who had slandered her, he had already deleted his post in silence. Fu sneered. Did he really think he could erase it that easily? Pulling out the screenshots she'd saved, she fired off a new post. Some keyboard warriors think they're gods online, but in real life they're nothing but timid cowards. The lawyer's letter has been sent. Now we all wait for you to livestream eating crap. Meanwhile, Xin Yanqing was on his way to a medical symposium with several colleagues. As their car passed through a busy commercial street, they stopped at a red light, right in front of a massive electronic billboard. On the screen, Suyu reclined on a bed with one bare shoulder exposed, her alluring gaze enough to capture anyone's attention. One colleague glanced out the window and clicked his tongue. Celebs these days are so shameless. I heard she tried to seduce a best actor at a Kyoto hotel and failed. Now it's all over the internet, everyone's cursing her. Serves her right. Sitting in the passenger seat, Xin Yanqing's brows furrowed. Almost instinctively he asked, "Who?" The colleague jerked his chin toward the billboard. "Her. I think her name's Suyu." Xin Yanqing turned sharply toward the screen, staring at Suyu's image for a moment before speaking evenly. "If you don't know the full story, don't comment. Without the truth, no one should pass judgment." His colleagues, surprised to hear him chime in on celebrity gossip, teased him. Well, Dr. Shi, what's this? Actually defending her? Don't tell us you're a secret fan." Another chimed in with a grin. "Honestly, you're too naive. Let's make a bet. If it turns out to be true, you owe us a Michelin dinner. I heard there's only one place in Qianhai." Xin Yanqing ignored them, his gaze lingering once more on Zuyu's face shining from the billboard. Xin Yanqing suddenly recalled the scene behind the movie premiere. When Han Lixing's hand was about to land on her shoulder, she flipped him clean over with a sharp over-the-shoulder throw. And later, when she stood in front of him like a mother hen shielding her chick. The girl he saw with his own eyes was brave, decisive, and responsible. That was the real Zuyu. Meanwhile, the scandal of Best Actor Han's downfall continued to spread online. But another headline shot up the trending list. A stunningly handsome doctor spotted at the medical summit. The accompanying photo was a candid shot of Xin Yanqing. After finishing his lecture, Xin Yanqing returned to the hotel to settle in. His thoughts drifted back to Zuyu. After all those ugly rumors, would a girl like her be crushed by it? Yet the moment he opened Weibo, he was greeted by her latest post, demanding that the slanderous blogger livestream eating crap. A flock of imaginary crows flapped noisily through his mind. Clearly he had been overthinking. The girl was still as fiery and full of life as ever. Xin Yanqing's brilliant speech at the medical summit once again landed him on the trending list. Scrolling through the news, Sister Ling couldn't help but sigh. This doctor is ridiculously handsome. Honestly, better looking than half the stars in showbiz. But why does he look kind of familiar to me? At that, Xiaoyu rushed over to check out the eye candy. Suyu, sipping her coffee, craned her neck curiously as well. The moment she got a good look, she spat her coffee out in shock. Wait, that's Xin Yanqing. Both Sister Ling and Xiaoyu snapped their heads toward her, clearly waiting for an explanation. When exactly had she secretly met this gorgeous guy? Clearing her throat awkwardly, Suyu admitted, when I went to Kyoto for a checkup, he was the one who treated me." Sister Ling's eyes went wide. "Hold on, the doctor who examined your chest was him?" Xiaoyu's eyes sparkled like stars. Boss, details please. One look at Xiaoyu's gossip-hungry face and Zuiyu knew her imagination was running wild. Rolling her eyes, she snapped, "What are you blushing for? He just did a routine exam. I don't even get it. Why would an external surgeon be sitting in the breast clinic that day?" Xiaoyu practically bounced in place with excitement. "Oh my god, this is way too juicy." Without hesitation, Zuiyu grabbed a cushion and hurled it at Xiaoyu. "Enough already. That was a proper medical exam, okay? What the hell is in that little head of yours? Pure smut." Xiaoyu, face burning, stammered back, "I was clearly reading romance novels, thank you very much." Sister Ling shot her a sly glance, enjoying the drama. Sure. And who was it asking me for certain video site links late at night?" Zuiyu's cheeks flushed crimson, a sudden wave of guilt washing over her. Taking her time, Sister Ling sat down and pressed further. "Didn't you claim he was your fan? So, does he like you or not?" Zuiyu coughed twice in fake seriousness, dodging, "Well, I'm gorgeous. Who wouldn't like me? Besides, we went to the same high school, so of course there's some familiarity." Sister Ling answered with a long, knowing "oh," staring at her as if to say, "Keep spinning that story, girl." Zuiyu was so embarrassed she could have dug herself a whole villa to hide in. Damn it, who knew a random boast would come back to bite her this hard? Opening her Weibo comments, she saw hordes of fans spamming husband under Xin Yanqing's photo, leaving her bitterly jealous. More and more people were beginning to notice him. His brilliance, like gold catching the light, was impossible to conceal. Sister Ling suddenly cut through Zuiyu's wandering thoughts. "That script role you landed, you only got it by cutting your fee in half. Luckily the scandal with that scumbag Han got cleared up, otherwise this project would have been dead in the water. And since it's a medical drama, this is your chance to boost your public image." Absent-mindedly scrolling her phone, Sister Ling's eyes suddenly lit up. She shoved the screen in Zuiyu's face, shouting excitedly, "I finally remembered. Besides Kyoto, I've seen this doctor online before. The photo was a little blurry, but my eagle eyes never mistake a handsome face." Zuiyu froze. The surgeon who saved that truck driver's life was Xin Yanqing? And to think, when they'd walked along the pier that night, she even teased him that he looked like the one who performed the operation. No wonder his expression had been so strange back then. She'd basically made a fool of herself right in front of the man himself. At this point, she wanted nothing more than to bash her head against the wall. Sister Ling eyed the trending photo of Xin Yanqing, then glanced at Zuiyu's guilty face. "Didn't you say he liked you? Well, this new role is about a doctor. Perfect chance to have him show you the ropes." Zuiyu was drowning in awkwardness. They hadn't spoken since their last meeting. No calls, no texts, nothing. What kind of role experience was she supposed to get? Still, if her guess was right, she should still be in Shenzhen. With a wave of her hand, Sister Ling reminded her to focus on the job, then left with Xiaoyu striding out in style. Just as Zuiyu was frowning over how to reach her crush, her phone chimed, WeChat friend request. She opened it and nearly jumped out of her seat. It was Xin Yanqing. He actually added me first. Heaven hasn't abandoned me after all. Once she accepted, his first message was a polite, "About that day, I'm sorry." Zuiyu's heart thumped wildly. Was he talking about that accidental kiss? Her fingers flew across the keyboard, typing, deleting, retyping, before she finally settled on just 2 words, "It's fine." Xin Yanqing stared at the reply, puzzled. Was she still upset about that night? Somehow, "It's fine" didn't look fine at all. Meanwhile, Zuiyu was silently kicking herself. Did I just kill the conversation? Then his next message arrived. That night I had to prep for a video conference and didn't get the chance to explain. About the pier, it wasn't intentional. Zuiyu replayed the moment in her head. Honestly, she should have been thanking him. If he hadn't pulled her aside, that speeding bike would have taken her out. Zuiyu then sent him a screenshot of the Weibo trending topic about his life-saving surgery, gushing like a fangirl. "I always knew you were brilliant since we were young, but I didn't expect you to be this outstanding." She'd heard men loved being admired and praised. Surely he was no exception, right? But his reply came back, perfectly serious. "That's nothing worth mentioning. I was only doing my duty." That only made Zuiyu admire him more. Classic male god, so different from those fame chasers. Still, it was clear he wanted no part in trending topics. So she offered to reach out to a few big bloggers she knew, to tone down the exposure. Xin Yanqing replied politely, "Thank you." Zuyu stared at the screen, exasperated. Really? Ending with a period? How am I supposed to keep this chat alive? Would it kill you to use a question mark? Just as she was racking her brain for another topic, a photo popped up from him. A medicine box labeled Tongluoling. His message read, "This works well for bruises. If it still hurts, you should try it." Zuyu froze, staring at the picture. What is this supposed to mean? Then it hit her. Wait, he's worried about my butt. Great. So much for my delicate fairy image. Completely ruined in front of him. Zuyu sent her assistant Xiaoyu to pick up a luxury handbag she had reserved in advance. But instead, Xiaoyu ended up in an argument. Your store texted me to come collect this bag. So why are these two trying to snatch it now? She snapped, while the stern-faced man beside them tapped the counter impatiently. Forcing a guilty smile, the manager explained, "Terribly sorry, it was a mistake by our staff. Two clerks each contacted their own clients. In fact, Miss Han reserved this bag first." As he spoke, he gestured toward the dainty woman clinging to the man's side. Xiaoyu was so furious she was practically breathing fire. That's nonsense. That's not what your staff told me earlier. Just you wait. My boss will be here any minute. Just as the standoff reached its peak, a tall, stunning figure appeared at the doorway. Someone in the store gasped, "Oh wow, I was wondering who had such good taste. Turns out it's President Lu and Miss Han." Lu Xiqing's sharp gaze swept across the room, only to pause, startled. Meanwhile, Han Chuchu's face changed instantly. She quickly tightened her grip on the man's arm, her voice dripping with false sweetness. "So sisters, will you also had her eye on this bag? I do like it too, but since you fancy it, I'll just let you have it." So you clicked her tongue. Han Chuchu's green tea nature really hadn't changed one bit. Back when she first debuted, Suyu had treated her like a little sister. Even introduced her then boyfriend, Lu Xiqing. The moment Han Chuchu learned Lu Xiqing was the CEO of Huaxing, she put on a front of admiration. "Wow, you're so lucky to have such a great boyfriend," while secretly scheming behind her back. On the night Suyu wrapped her last film, she called Lu Xiqing, only for Han Chuchu to answer the phone. The girl stammered out, "Brother Xiqing is in the shower." Suyu didn't hesitate, she hung up and blocked every way of contacting Lu Xiqing on the spot. That scumbag still thought he'd covered his tracks perfectly, even had the nerve to confront her later. Why had she disappeared and ignored him? Sunglasses on, diva mode activated. Suyu had her bodyguards throw him out. Since then they'd had zero contact. And now, of all places, they bump into each other here. Talk about rotten luck. As for the handbag, it wasn't even for herself. Sister Ling had tasked her to buy it as a gift for the new film director's wife. Casting a cool glance at the bag, she said, "It's nice, but I'm planning to give it to an elder. If I carried it myself, the color would feel a little old-fashioned." Han Chuchu's face froze. Was that a jab calling her taste old? Suyu handed the bag to the manager with a casual smile. "Bags are like men, plenty out there. If you want it, take it. Please wrap it up for Miss Han." Lu Xiqing, who had stayed silent until now, darkened. "Are you implying I'm just a thing?" Suyu's grin widened. "Oh, would you prefer I say you're not a thing, President Lu?" The jab left him speechless. Han Chuchu instantly rushed to defend him. "Sister Suyu, how can you say that to Brother Xiqing? That's way too rude." Suyu's smile didn't reach her eyes. "Really? And sneaking around with him behind his girlfriend's back? That counts as polite." At that, the salesgirls folding clothes nearby perked up their ears. Who'd have thought they'd witness such explosive gossip live? Lu Xiqing roared, furious. "Nonsense. She never did anything like that." Tears welled up in Han Chuchu's eyes as she whimpered, "It was Sister Suyu who broke up with Brother Xiqing first. We only got together afterward. How could you slander me like this?" Suyu chuckled, pulling out her phone. "Then maybe I should dig up those late-night photos you sent me, to refresh your memory?" Han Chuchu froze, her face instantly paling. "I don't know what you're talking about." Suyu waved her off with disdain. "Drop the act. I don't pick up trash I've already thrown away. If you want him, keep him. Just don't ever show up to dirty my eyes again." Lu Xiqing's temper flared and he was about to storm forward to argue, but Han Chuchu quickly clung to him, terrified Suyu might drop another bombshell. "Brother Xiqing, go get the car." Sister just has some misunderstandings with me, I'll explain. She pushed him toward the exit while Zuiyu sneered behind them. What's wrong? Don't want the bag anymore? Why stop fighting for it? Once only the two women remained, Han Chuchu dropped the innocent act, her eyes sharp with challenge. Don't get cocky. All you've got is a sharp tongue. It's just a bag, I don't care. But director Su's new film is casting, and thanks to Brother Sicheng looking out for me, the producer's giving me that role. Zuiyu's expression chilled. So the one competing with her for the part was Han Chuchu. She lifted her chin proudly and shot back. You feel my role? You're not even worthy. Just as she stepped out of the mall, Zuiyu's phone buzzed. Sister Ling urging her again. With a sigh, she muttered, I'm already in the car on the way. Sister Ling nagged like a worried mom. This medical-themed film has solid production and a meaningful concept. When you meet director Su later, you'd better put on your best performance. At a red light, Zuiyu looked up just in time to see a plane streaking across the sky. Her mind drifted to her crush, Xin Yanqing. The medical summit should be over by now. Has he already left Shenshe? She remembered her promise to Grandpa, to win him over. Looks like she'd have to find another chance later. The car rolled forward again. Suddenly, on the sidewalk to the right, a pregnant woman stopped dead in her tracks. One hand braced against her waist, the other cradling her swollen belly, her face pale with fear. Fluid trickled down her leg. It looked like her water had broken. Zuiyu's heart leapt. Wait, what's happening? Is she about to give birth? Just then Sister Ling's call buzzed again. Zuiyu, how much longer? The director's already here. But kind-hearted Zuiyu couldn't care less about the big career opportunity. Saving a life came first. She didn't even have time to explain. She pulled the car over and rushed to the pregnant woman. Are you okay? Do you need me to take you to the hospital? The woman's face was ghostly pale. And my water just broke. I think I'm about to give birth. Zuiyu had never dealt with anything like this before. She quickly dialed the hospital, gave them the address, and anxiously asked what emergency steps she should take. Following the instructions, she called out for help from bystanders. People hurried over, taking off their jackets to lay down as makeshift bedding. The pregnant woman half reclined on the pile of clothes, but she was still trembling with fear, crying uncontrollably. Zuiyu knelt beside her, gently coaxing, The doctors are on their way. It's okay. Try to take deep breaths. The woman clutched Zuiyu's arm with all her strength, like it was the only lifeline she had left. At that critical moment, a steady, commanding voice rang out from the crowd. Step aside, I'm a doctor. Use your jackets to shield her. Make more space and keep the air flowing. Zuiyu looked toward the voice, and there he was, her crush, Xin Yanqing. Instantly, the tension in her chest melted away. The bystanders quickly followed his instructions, forming a human wall. Zuiyu, too anxious for greetings, blurted, How is she? Can she deliver now? Xin Yanqing replied firmly, Yes. But the baby isn't positioned right. I'll adjust it. Zuiyu, you'll help deliver. What? Me deliver a baby? Zuiyu froze, completely at a loss. But Xin Yanqing's steady gaze locked onto hers. Trust me. I'll guide you every step. The circle of bystanders began to chant encouragement, voices rising. Come on. You can do it. And then what? A newborn's cry split the air. Cheers erupted around them. The baby's here. She made it. Just then the ambulance arrived. Xin Yanqing quickly briefed the paramedics on the mother's condition and what needed to be done. Standing aside, Zuiyu was overwhelmed with emotion. She had just helped Xin Yanqing bring a new life into the world. She stared at her own trembling hands, still unable to believe it. She had actually succeeded. Tears welled up as awe and gratitude surged within her. The miracle of life had never felt so real. Suddenly, a warm hand brushed against her cheek, gently wiping away the tears at the corner of her eyes. It was Xin Yanqing. His gaze was tender, filled with unspoken affection. Zuiyu, he murmured, you did great. In that instant, time seemed to freeze. The moment etched forever as a snapshot of happiness between the two of them. The crowd, moved by what they'd witnessed, gathered around praising Xin Yanqing for his compassion and skill. Doctor, you're so young yet so capable. What hospital are you from? We'll come to you from now on. But Xin Yanqing humbly shook his head. It wasn't just me. She helped a lot too. As he spoke, he reached out and pulled Suyu up beside him. Someone in the crowd suddenly recognized her. Wait, you're Suyu, right? My daughter adores you. Such a sweet and kind girl, and she's a big star too. Compliments poured in from all directions, leaving Suyu, once plagued by negative rumors, completely flustered. Neither of them were good at handling this kind of spotlight. Suyu leaned close and whispered, "Let's run." Before Xin Yanqing could answer, she grabbed his arm and bolted down the street. They finally stopped at a corner, both of them breathless. Catching her breath, Suyu turned to him. "Dr. Shi, why are you still here? Haven't you gone back yet?" Xin Yanqing replied calmly, "My flight today just happened to pass through here." Though she asked so casually, every time Suyu looked at Xin Yanqing, her heart pounded like a trapped deer, a haze of tension and unspoken feelings drifting between them. As if pulled by some invisible force, she reached out and gently wiped the sweat from his brow. Meeting his deep, steady gaze, she flushed and quickly pulled her hand back. A sudden thought pressed on her: he might leave soon. She should do something, anything. What if I just stole a kiss while he's not paying attention? She shook her head violently, chasing the thought away. Oh no, that'd be straight up street harassment. Xin Yanqing simply watched her, lost in thought one second, sneaking glances the next, blushing furiously, then holding her head like she'd gone dizzy. He couldn't help but wonder what on earth she was thinking. Just as he was about to ask, Suyu's phone rang, snapping her out of her daze. The moment she picked up, Sister Ling's roar exploded from the speaker. "Suyu, are you kidding me? Director Su and the team already started discussions. What's going on with you?" Her tirade was only a breath away from curses. Flustered, Suyu stammered, "I'm coming right now." She turned back to Xin Yanqing, blurting in haste, "I've got an emergency. Have to go. Safe travels." And before he could answer, she was already sprinting away, leaving him standing there bewildered. A moment later, his lips curved into the faintest smile. Brave enough when delivering a baby, wasn't she? At that moment, Director Su had already been in discussion with Han Chu and her manager for nearly an hour. He had originally favored Suyu, but showing up late to a first meeting struck him as unprofessional. Suyu hurried to the meeting place. The moment she pushed the door open, Han Yi's syrupy voice floated over. "Sister Suyu, did you oversleep? Look how flustered you are. Come, have a seat." Suyu sneered inwardly. Pretty face, poisonous mouth. She's clearly trying to make the director think I don't take this seriously. Steadying herself, Suyu said politely, "Director Su, I'm sorry. Something unexpected happened on the way. Being late was her fault and an apology was due." But Director Su cut her off coldly. Punctuality and respect are the most basic professional qualities of an actor. Spare me the excuses. Knowing how rare the opportunity was, Suyu still tried to fight for it. Yet Director Su only shook his head. The decision is basically already made. Lowering her head, Suyu sighed inwardly. So be it then. Of course, Han Yi couldn't resist another jab. "Sister Suyu, accidents on the road aren't your fault, but if you just left earlier, you wouldn't be late." Her words died in her throat the moment she met Suyu's furious glare. Terrified, she fell silent. Suyu spoke again, her voice firm. "I am truly sorry. As I was late. But even if I had the chance to go back, I'd still choose to leave at the same time and make the same decision." In the car, her manager Sister Ling pressed, "All right, spill it. What really happened?" Suyu shrugged casually. "Nothing much. Just ran into a pregnant woman going into labor on the street. So I helped deliver the baby." Sister Ling gaped. "And you didn't explain that to Director Su? This drama happens to be a medical workplace story." Suyu gave a dry laugh. "Heh. If explanations worked, I'd grow mouths all over my body." She glanced out the window as a plane streaked across the sky. Lost in thought, she asked, "By the way, where's the shoot location?" Sister Ling replied offhandedly, "Kyoto." Suyu froze. "Kyoto? And it's a medical drama? Could it really be his hospital?" Instantly, her mind conjured up the image of meeting Xin Yanqing again. She shook her head hard. "What am I thinking? It's already blown anyway." On the way back, Suyu suddenly asked the driver to take a detour to the hospital. At the maternity ward door, she knocked lightly. A young man stepped out and asked curiously, "And you are?" Holding a bouquet of fresh flowers, Suyu introduced herself. Hello, I'm Suiyu. Did your family just welcome a baby girl today? Viv, you're the one who saved my wife and daughter. The man's face lit up with joy as he eagerly invited her in. Suiyu quickly waved it off. Actually, there was a professional doctor on site. I only helped a little. How's your wife doing now? At that moment, the man's in-laws overheard and immediately stood up. Manager Sister Ling studied the older man carefully. He looked oddly familiar, like someone she had seen in the news. The in-laws stepped forward, offering heartfelt thanks to Suiyu. Cradling her newborn, the mother laughed and said to her parents, "Mom, Dad, can't you tell? She's the famous actress Suiyu." She turned to Suiyu with a smile. "Miss Sui, you must have a special bond with my baby. Why don't you become her godmother?" Suiyu couldn't resist leaning closer, gently tickling the newborn with her finger. The tiny baby wrapped her soft little hand around Suiyu's finger and let out an "ah," as if trying to put it in her mouth, an overload of cuteness. Enchanted, Suiyu laughed. "You're right, I really do feel a bond with her. From today on, this little girl is officially my goddaughter." The delighted in-laws beamed. "Then it's settled, we've gained a goddaughter too." Sister Ling kept staring at the man's father-in-law. He looked more and more familiar, like she'd seen him somewhere before. Unable to resist, she pulled out her phone to do a quick search. What she found nearly made her jump out of her seat. As soon as they stepped out of the maternity ward, Sister Ling grabbed Suiyu excitedly. "Suiyu, you've just met a real VIP." Suiyu blinked in confusion. "What VIP?" Sister Ling showed her the search results. "That man is the mayor of Shenzhen." Suiyu was stunned. "Seriously? A random good deed on the street, and it turns out to be the mayor's daughter?" Sister Ling chuckled. "See? Good deeds bring good luck. Who knows? Maybe Director Su will give you another shot because of this." Soon, news of Suiyu and Xin Yanqing saving both mother and child on the street went viral on Weibo, climbing straight to the #1 trending spot. Scrolling through the flood of praise, Suiyu felt a strange mix of emotions. After all these years of struggle, it was the first time she had ever been showered with universal approval. But just as her heart swelled, one jarring comment appeared. A user named Qing Qing Xiaoyu sneered. "Suiyu is just a homewrecker, a trash celebrity who doesn't deserve redemption." Suiyu flared up instantly, firing back. "If you can't provide evidence, I'll have my lawyer sue you." The troll doubled down. "You know exactly how you clawed your way up, Suiyu." Suiyu's blood boiled. "Right, just you wait. I'll drag you out from behind that screen if I have to follow the wires myself." Suddenly, her phone rang. When Suiyu picked up, it was Director Su on the line. He must have seen the trending news, because his tone was instantly warm and inviting, offering her a new opportunity. Still cautious, Suiyu asked, "Didn't you already say the role was taken?" Director Su explained, "This drama actually has 2 female leads. I'd like you to play one of them. But you'll need to spend some time training at a designated hospital." Suiyu swallowed nervously. "Which hospital would that be?" "It hasn't been finalized yet," Su replied. "But our first choice is Kyoto First People's Hospital." The moment she heard that, Suiyu didn't hesitate. She blurted out, Yes, absolutely, no problem at all." Inside, her heart was bursting with joy. Her mind instantly conjured an image of herself wrapped in an intimate embrace with her idol, Xin Yanqing, leaving her practically floating on air. In the hospital cafeteria, Xin Yanqing was just about to sit down for lunch. His friend from anesthesiology, Li Juan, slid into the seat beside him with a grin. "Hey old Shi, have you noticed? Everyone's been giving you weird looks today." Xin Yanqing answered calmly, "I barely have time to see my patients, let alone notice other people." But Li Juan pressed on, eyes gleaming with gossip. "Come on, tell me the truth. What's the deal between you and that actress? The paparazzi swarmed the hospital this morning." She's chopsticks froze midair. For a split second, Suiyu's face flashed in his mind, but he didn't want to bring her any more trouble. He finally replied evenly, "We're not close. She and I live in different worlds." Li Juan slumped in disappointment. "Man, you're no fun. Fine, forget it. Let's just eat." Absent-mindedly scrolling his phone, his eyes suddenly widened. #1 on the trending list was Suiyu caught kissing a man on the street. He muttered, "Damn, no wonder old She said they're not from the same world. The entertainment industry is insane." But his curiosity got the better of him. He tapped the post, eager to see who the mystery man was. The moment the photo loaded, he choked on the rib in his mouth, coughing violently. With a loud plop, the rib shot straight out and landed in Xin Yanqing's lunch tray. Xin Yanqing's gaze snapped toward him, sharp as a blade, like he could pin Li Juan to the spot with just his eyes. Li Juan panicked, fumbling for words, not even sure what to explain first. But then it hit him, he was the one in the right. His blood pressure spiked. Didn't you just say you weren't close to that actress? He shoved the trending post in front of Xin Yanqing. Then explain this. Who's the guy kissing her in broad daylight? On her way to the airport, Suyu spotted the trending topic and panic instantly set in. Under Lingjie's sharp questioning, she blurted out, "It was really just an accident." Thinking back, it had only happened because she dodged a speeding bicycle. She muttered under her breath, "If only that rumor were actually true." Lingjie cut her off sternly. "You absolutely can't deny it now, or people will think you're being dishonest." Xiao Yu chimed in, "Exactly. Everyone will just assume you're bullying Dr. Shi." But Suyu pushed back. What if staying silent ends up hurting him? That earned her a crash course in entertainment industry survival logic from both of them. From their perspective, the best move was to lean on Xin Yanqing's name to calm the storm first. Deal with the rest later. Yet when she pictured him in her mind, her chest tightened. She truly liked him, and never once had she wanted to use that feeling as a tool. At the airport, Suyu pulled herself together and scrolled through the endless trending posts in the lounge. Some claimed the CP has come true. Others argued she wasn't worthy of such a doctor. Some pointed out the gap between celebrities and ordinary people, while others accused her of dating over 10 men just for fun. Meanwhile, in the hospital cafeteria, Li Juan grumbled, "So the pictures are out. My buddy's in love and didn't even tell me?" He picked up his tray and stormed off, muttering like a betrayed friend. Xin Yanqing never expected that moment to have been caught on camera. He pulled out his phone, opening WeChat to her profile. Her photo radiated a natural beauty that felt effortlessly genuine. Letting out a slow breath, he began typing a message. Just as Suyu was about to argue with netizens, wondering when she supposedly had 10 boyfriends, a notification popped up from Xin Yanqing. Nervously, she opened the chat. His words read, "Sorry. The photos caused you trouble." Guilt washed over her. If anything, she should be the one apologizing. She quickly typed back, "Dr. Shi, you stole my line. I'm the one who should be saying sorry." Suyu's assistant reminded her it was time to board. Just then Nolan, the stylish, sharp-dressed creative director of Fashion Week, sat down in the seat beside her. A wave of strong designer cologne hit her. One glance at his outfit and she could tell he was definitely from the fashion world. But he didn't look too happy, still typing messages even as the plane was about to take off. Out of the corner of her eye, Suyu noticed tears sliding down his face. She handed him a tissue gently, saying, "Miss, whatever's going on, it'll be okay." The stranger removed his sunglasses, revealing a strikingly handsome face. "I'm a man. But thanks." Suyu froze, utterly dumbfounded. Flustered, she quickly apologized. "Sorry. You're just so good-looking, I thought you were a beautiful lady." The flower boy type took the tissue, dabbed his eyes and replied softly, "It's fine. Thanks." Not wanting to make things more awkward, Suyu kept quiet after that. On the way back to their place, Manager Lin informed Suyu that she'd secured her a slot at an international luxury runway show. She reminded her sternly, this time Milan's chief fashion director himself will be hand-picking the face for a global magazine cover. You have to give it your best. Inside, Suyu was thinking, great, with all the top stars showing up, what chance do I even have? I'll just treat it as going through the motions. Moments later, they arrived at a highly private residence. Though her mind whispered doubt, Suyu still said out loud, "I'll do my best." In the middle of the night, Suyu was jolted awake by her phone buzzing. Half asleep and annoyed, she glanced at the screen. The next second, she shot up in shock. It was a reply from Xin Yanqing. The messages were full of concern, even advising her not to rush into clarifying the rumors just yet. Her heart leapt. So the male god really was thinking of ways to help her. A wild thought stirred. Should she confess right now? But what if moving too fast scared him off? She typed a message, deleted it, typed again, over and over, never daring to hit send. Until, with trembling hands, she accidentally pressed send. Panic set in instantly. She scrambled for the recall button, nearly fainting from the horror. It's fine, he's probably too busy to notice, she tried to comfort herself. But then, ding. His reply came. He hadn't exactly understood her slip, but that only made her blush harder. Cornered, Suiyu resorted to her clumsy acting skills, firing off an endless stream of over-the-top compliments. On night duty at the hospital, Xin Yanqing's phone wouldn't stop buzzing. He frowned. Why is she sending so many messages? Opening the chat, he saw nothing but Suiyu's endless praise. To him, it felt overly polite, like she was keeping her distance. He replied, "We're the same age. Just treat me like an ordinary friend." Suiyu instantly turned cheeky. "Alright then, send your friend a photo of those abs." That one line was enough to make Xin Yanqing's ears burn red. 5 long minutes crawled by as Suiyu tossed and turned in bed, panicking. Oh no, did he just figure out I'm a total perv? Anxious, she fired off another text. "Dr. Shi?" with an oversized question mark. At last, his reply popped up. "Sleeping," punctuated with an oversized exclamation point. Relieved, Suiyu quickly typed back that she was only joking, then affectionately slipped in a soft Yanqing before hugging her phone and drifting off to sleep. At noon, Xiaoyu thoughtfully prepared a lavish lunch for Suiyu and manager Ling. Just as Suiyu's greedy little hand reached for the lamb chops, Ling stopped her in one swift move, calmly sliding a plate of veggies in front of her. "This one's yours." Watching Ling happily enjoy her meal while she poked at plain greens, Suiyu suddenly remembered a DM she'd gotten. Someone said Han Lixing is ED. "Ling, what is that? Some kind of weird disease?" Ling chuckled, replying, "Let me give you an example." Suiyu perked up like an eager school kid waiting for the explanation. But Ling only gave her a sidelong glance and muttered, "Forget it. Better not, give an example." Suiyu hooked her arm through Ling's, whining, "Hey, you can't just stop halfway." Ling smirked, "The answer's already in the word." Suiyu blinked in confusion. What does that even mean? She made up her mind. Fine, I'll just ask a professional later. At the hospital, Li Jun just couldn't hold back his gossiping heart, grilling Xin Yanqing about what exactly was going on between him and Suiyu. He even added, "By the way, that ortho doc Xiao is a hardcore Suiyu fan. Ever since he heard about your rumor with her, he's been spreading dirt about you everywhere." With that, Li Jun plopped himself right down on Xin Yanqing's desk, clearly not planning to leave until he dug out some juicy details. Suddenly, Xin Yanqing's phone buzzed. He picked it up and his face instantly flushed red. Li Jun's eyes lit up. One sneaky glance was all it took to confirm his suspicion. "Holy crap, it really is Suiyu," he blurted out, grabbing Xin Yanqing's shoulders. "Bro, you've actually hooked up with a celeb. No wonder your face turns red the second you see her name pop up." Xin Yanqing was about to explain, but Li Jun leaned in with a sleazy grin. "Come on, let me see what she texted you, just one peek?" Xin Yanqing shot him a death glare and barked one word, "Out." Li Jun wasn't the least bit offended. In fact, he felt he'd just secured the juiciest scoop of the year. On his way out, he even promised, "Don't worry, bro. My lips are sealed." But once the door closed, he smirked to himself. "If I don't spill this, how else am I supposed to drive that ortho fanboy Xiao crazy?" After Li Jun left, Xin Yanqing stared at the message from Suiyu, wondering how on earth he should phrase his reply. He thought it over again and again but came up with nothing better. So he went with a dead serious, professional explanation. Suiyu, who was munching on lunch, nearly choked to death the moment she read it. A mouthful of rice shot out, her face flushing red. Whether from embarrassment or from choking, no one could tell. Dr. Shi's mini lecture. ED in Western medicine refers to male erectile dysfunction. Simply put, impotence. That one reply scared the hell out of manager Ling. She jumped to her feet and blurted out, "What happened? Did some negative news break online again?" Suiyu buried herself straight into Lingjie's arms, wailing, "Why didn't you tell me earlier what ED means?" Only then did Lingjie relax, plopping back into her seat. She pushed Suiyu's forehead away with one palm and said, "I already told you, it means he can't get it up." Suiyu replayed the moment in her head. Sure enough, Lingjie had said it, but way too cryptically. No wonder she hadn't understood it all. Just then her phone pinged again. Suiyu jolted. Was this going to be another medical science lecture? Hands trembling, she picked it up. Thank goodness it wasn't. It was a message from her hacker contact. The hacker reported that the troll, Ching Xiaoyu, turned out to be just a bratty kid. Clearly someone else had been using his account. Digging deeper, the hacker uncovered an even juicier detail. The kid was actually Han Chuchu's younger brother. Zuyu's dark side instantly switched on. A cold smirk curled on her lips. Han Chuchu, just wait. I'll make sure you pay for this. A few days later, at the new drama cruise dinner, Suyu revealed to manager Ling in the car that the online troll was actually Han Chuchu's younger brother. Ling Jie fumed. She'd never once heard in the industry that Han Chuchu had a sibling 17 years younger. Soon they arrived at the hotel for the gathering, only to bump right into Han Chuchu walking in arm-in-arm with Lu Xiqing. Ling Jie asked worriedly, "Are you sure you can handle this on your own?" Suyu smirked with bravado. "Handle it? Please. Fear isn't in my vocabulary." She slammed the car door shut and strode out. Hearing the car door, Han Chuchu saw Zuyu and instantly clung tighter to Lu Xiqing's arm. With a sickly sweet tone she said, "Sister Zuyu, what a coincidence. Did you come here with your boyfriend too?" Clearly she was baiting Lu Xiqing. Zuyu didn't even glance at her. She walked right past, tossing back a flat, "Not a coincidence." But in her heart she sneered, "Just wait until you see my name on the cast list." Pushing open the private dining room door, Suyu stepped inside. Han Chuchu froze, utterly puzzled. Why on earth was Suyu here? The director, beaming with excitement, clapped his hands. "Finally, both our leading ladies are here. Come sit. Han Chuchu's mask cracked on the spot, her face stiff with disbelief. "What? She's in the show too as a lead?" As Suyu walked in, she couldn't help but sigh. This circle's habit of praising one while stepping on another was on full display here. Thank heavens for that official government commendation that kept her afloat. She took a seat beside the other female lead, and the two quickly struck up a natural conversation. Out of the corner of her eye, Suyu spotted Han Chuchu's forced smile. "Hold it in, trash girl. The real pain is yet to come," she sneered inwardly. Refusing to be ignored, Han Chuchu deliberately stirred the pot. "I bumped into Sister Zuyu at the entrance just now. I thought she was here on a date with her boyfriend." The mention, paired with all the trending gossip online, instantly lit up everyone's gossip radar. Suddenly, all eyes turned to Zuyu, leaving her caught off guard. She quickly deflected. "Let's keep the focus on work, okay? As for private matters, I'd rather not explain. Thanks for understanding." But because the rumor involved Xin Yanqing, Zuyu's face flushed crimson despite her words. In her mind, she even pictured her dream man cornering her against a wall. "He may not be my boyfriend yet, but sooner or later he will be. Sorry, Dr. Shi, I'm being shameless again." Seeing her blush so deeply, everyone pretty much took it as confirmation and began offering their congratulations. Only Lu Xiqing broke the silence, his tone sharp. "So you've got a boyfriend? Then call him over. Let's have dinner together." Zuyu ignored him completely, which only made Lu push harder. "If he shows up tonight, the whole meal's on me. I'll even throw in extra funding for the film." His relentless pressure made the onlookers whisper. Lu Xiqing's reaction looked an awful lot like jealousy. Suddenly, the private room door swung open. Everyone turned their heads, only to see a waiter delivering dishes. But through the small gap in the doorway, Zuyu spotted a familiar figure, Xin Yanqing. Those who had seen the viral photos online recognized him instantly. They craned their necks and exclaimed, "That's him. The genius medical PhD, he's ridiculously handsome." Convinced Zuyu couldn't possibly have a boyfriend, Lu smirked and provoked her. "Since everyone's seen him, why don't you invite him in? Or is it because he's not really your boyfriend?" Zuyu's competitive streak surged. She shot to her feet and snapped, "Fine, let's go then, who's afraid of who?" The director had already instructed Xiao Liang to hurry and invite Dr. Shi. Before the words even settled, Xiao Liang bolted out like the wind. Zuyu's heart sank. Great, she didn't even have time to ask Xin Yanqing to play along. At that moment, Xin Yanqing had just seen off some guests when a stranger suddenly grabbed his arm. "Dr. Shi, what an honor." She blinked in confusion and Xiao Liang rushed to explain, "I'm with your girlfriend's film crew. We're having a cast dinner in a private room, and the director asked me to bring you in." "Girlfriend?" She nearly asked out loud, but before he could, Xiao Liang rattled on, "You have no idea how much Sister Zhuo adores you. She's been hiding you away, worried we'd bully you." Only then did Xin Yanqing realize, This so-called girlfriend Xiao Liang was talking about was actually Zui Yu. The moment they reached the doorway, Zui Yu and Xin Yanqing locked eyes. Her mind went blank. Who am I? Where am I? What am I even doing? Meanwhile, the onlookers erupted in cheers. Dr. Shi is so handsome, brains and looks all in one. Totally outshines those so-called idol actors. Even the award-winning actress Ni Su chimed in with a smile. Sister Zui, your boyfriend is amazing. Hurry and bring him over. Hiding half her face with her hand, Zui Yu peeked toward the door. The director was already clasping Xin Yanqing's hand in excitement. Dr. Shi, I've heard so much about you. You're a national hero now. She modestly deflected, but the director pressed on. And since your girlfriend is here too, why don't you both join us at the table? Both the director and she turned their eyes toward Zui Yu. She felt as if a blade were pressing against her throat. Forcing herself to play along, she blurted words she barely believed herself. Honey, didn't I tell you I'd be dining with the crew? I didn't expect you to come pick me up so early. Inside, she was already on her knees, begging. Please, Dr. Shi, don't expose me in front of everyone. Xin Yanqing instantly grasped what she meant. Zui Yu's cheeks flushed as she watched Xin Yanqing stride toward her. He came over and he hadn't denied a thing. She rubbed her hands together nervously, thinking he's really too good to me. When she casually took the cup from in front of her, she couldn't help but marvel. How can a man's fingers look this flawless? Leaning closer, she whispered, Are you in trouble? Staring at the man she had admired for so long, Zui Yu's heart was anything but calm. She scolded herself inwardly. She was a famous actress, the pampered jewel of a wealthy family, so why did she turn into a flustered girl the moment she saw him? Hastily picking up the teapot, she stammered, Yes, please, Dr. Shi, then gazed at him like a lovesick fool. She gently took the teapot from her hands and said softly, Let me. You might burn yourself. The crowd of onlookers was practically squealing inside. To them, this was better than watching a live drama unfold. Zui Yu clutched the hand that had brushed against his just moments ago, berating herself for being so hopeless. Why couldn't she keep her focus around him? Suddenly, actress Ni Su asked, Zui Yu, how did you and your boyfriend meet? Before Zui Yu could react, Xin Yanqing smoothly answered, We were high school classmates. Zui Yu instantly lit up, blushing like a shy schoolgirl as she proudly echoed, That's right. Back then, Xin Yanqing was the star of our school. He had every girl swooning. I already liked him a lot at that time. She then glanced at Shi, silently scolding herself, Shut up, don't spill any more. But the crowd had already pieced together the rest. The director raised his glass with a smile and said, Ah, young love is always the purest. You're both so outstanding, treasure each other well. Rising to her feet, Zui Yu felt like she just dug herself an even deeper hole. Yet to her surprise, Xin Yanqing also stood up, and together they clinked glasses to thank Director Su. Looking deeply at Shi, Zui Yu thought to herself, this feeling, it's not bad at all. Lu Xiqing, who had been so aggressive earlier, kept staring at their interaction, and the more he looked, the more it irritated him. Just then, Zui Yu's phone buzzed with a message from Xin Yanqing. Is that guy across the table the one bothering you? Zui Yu grumbled inwardly. Seriously, Lu Xiqing again? Why does he show up everywhere? She glanced at Shi, gave a tiny nod and whispered, Let's find an excuse to slip out. She replied calmly, Up to you. I'll go along. But right at that moment, Han Chu chimed in with her syrupy tone. Oh, Dr. Shi, you're really lucky. There are so many people chasing after Sister Zui in the industry. Even if they break up, her exes never forget her. Having been around the entertainment circle for years, Ni Su instantly saw through Han Chu's little trick. She cut in with a sharp smile. What can we say? Our Zui Yu's charm is irresistible. But you know, a proper ex should act like they're dead. Lu Xiqing couldn't help but cut in again. What I really want to know is why Zui Yu broke up with her ex. Zui Yu's patience with this toxic pair was gone. She shot back coldly. What's there to explain? I don't go around hyping up pig feed. If someone wants it, they can have it. Being indirectly called a pig, Han Chu was furious. She snapped with a mocking tone. Well, I heard someone once played mistress to a certain director. With a girlfriend like that, no wonder the guy wanted to break up. Her eyes darted toward Xin Yanqing, clearly trying to stir up trouble. I just wonder what the current boyfriend would think if he knew? Zui Yu nearly exploded. How dare she smear me in front of Xin Yanqing? At that moment, a warm, steady hand covered hers. She's voice turned sharp as steel. If you're going to speak, bring evidence. Otherwise, be ready to take legal responsibility. Han Chu-Chu still wanted to bite back, but the director cut her off sternly. This dinner is for everyone to get acquainted, not to start a fight. He laid it out clearly, and for the record, I know the truth. Director Lee was the one who crossed the line back then. His wife caught him and Zui got dragged into it. She was innocent. With that said, Han Chu-Chu's face burned with shame. Zui turned to Director Su gratefully. Thank you for clarifying. I believe the truth speaks for itself. Smart people can see it. Of course, not everyone is smart. Then she looked at Xin Yanqing with deep affection. Honestly, I don't need to waste time arguing with people that twisted. Right, darling? Gazing at her confident charm, she gave a firm reply. Right. He reached out, resting his hand on her head in a gentle head pat. You're always right. In that instant, Suiyu's heart melted completely into his warmth. Lu Xiqing, thoroughly humiliated, could no longer stay. He got up and left in embarrassment. Han Chu-Chu panicked, calling after him, Brother Xiqing, don't go. But he ignored her completely. Flustered, Han Chu-Chu stood as well, forcing a polite smile. Sorry, Director Su, you all enjoy your meal. I'll be leaving too. Watching the two scurry off with their tails between their legs, Suiyu laughed inwardly. This is what it means when the true lead wins. The scumbag pair flees in disgrace. Suiyu raised her glass with a smile. Sorry for making things awkward earlier. Let me toast everyone. Tonight she was genuinely happy, humiliating the cheating pair, clearing her name, and most importantly, having Xin Yanqing by her side as her boyfriend. Glass after glass of red wine went down, and before long she was tipsy, barely conscious. As the gathering ended, actress Ni Su fanned the flames with a teasing smile. It's obvious, Dr. Shi, you're happiest when you're with Suiyu. Go on, take her home. Suiyu clung to Shi playfully. I don't want to go. But her unsteady steps sent her falling straight into his arms. She caught her in one swift motion, then scooped her up in a princess carry. Time to go home, he said gently. Face flushed, Suiyu buried herself shyly against his neck. Holding her close, she thanked the others politely. Thank you, everyone. From behind, Ni Su called out with a sly grin. Dr. Shi, wishing you both a wonderful night. She had been walking smoothly, but at those words his steps faltered. No matter how he heard it, the meaning was dripping with innuendo. Once in the car, Xin Yanqing carefully placed Suiyu onto the seat. Seeing how drunk she was, he took out her phone, intending to find her agent's number. To his surprise, there was no fingerprint or face ID set up, leaving him with no choice but to take her home himself. Back at his place, freshly showered and towel drying his damp hair, she glanced at the already fast asleep Suiyu. Her blanket had slipped down below her waist. Worried she might catch a chill, he gently pulled the quilt back over her. But as soon as he did, she rolled over, half her body exposed again, long pale legs stretching out in a way that seemed almost dangerously tempting. She tightened his grip on the towel, then patiently tucked the blanket around her once more. Just as he turned to leave, her small hand reached out in her sleep, clutching tightly at his robe. His balance faltered and he toppled forward, straight onto the bed. Their faces were now only inches apart, and staring at the alluring Suiyu, Xin Yanqing found his focus slipping. But he knew he couldn't stay any longer. He gently pried her small hand off his robe. Just as he stood up, Suiyu seemed to stir awake. Rubbing her sleepy eyes, she thought she saw her idol before her. Xin Yanqing, she called softly, wondering if she was still dreaming. Then without hesitation she draped both arms around his neck. The warmth and solidity felt so real. In a tender voice she whispered again, Yanqing. The intimate scene nearly unraveled his composure. She forced out a restrained murmur, Suiyu, don't fool around. But to her, hearing his voice even in a dream felt like pure bliss. If it's just a dream, then maybe I can. With that thought, a daring impulse surged. She would drag her aloof, untouchable idol down from his pedestal. Her arms tightened, pulling him down toward her, and in the next second her lips pressed firmly against his. Both of them were dangerously close to giving in, but with what reason he had left, Xin Yanqing gently pulled away. He wouldn't take advantage of her like this. Yet seeing him retreat, Suiyu refused to yield. Out of nowhere, she found strength to shove him back. She pinned him beneath her, pouting in protest. This is my dream, so you have to listen to me. With that, she leaned down, aiming to kiss her idol once more. Xin Yanqing's voice cut through, low and tense. So do you even know who I am? He wondered if she realized what she was doing. But she only stroked his cheek and whispered softly, Xin Yanqing. Then her small hand slid downward, her lips landing a reckless kiss along his pale neck. Panic surged. If this continued, he might truly lose control. Grabbing her restless hands, he flipped her over and yanked off his belt, binding her wrists in one swift motion. Watching her finally quiet down, he exhaled in relief. This drunk girl is going to drive me insane. She loosened the belt, tucking the blanket back around her. Listening to her steady breathing, he left the room and doused himself in a cold shower, silently thankful he hadn't let himself go astray. Morning came with the shrill ring of her alarm. Suyu reached out to silence it, but her hand found nothing. She shot upright, remembering, last night she had been drunk. Pulling back the blanket, she sighed in relief. At least nothing had gone wrong after drinking. Yet the images in her head lingered. Those embraces, those kisses, those stolen touches. So vivid, too vivid. Her clothes were perfectly intact, but if it had all been a dream, it was far too real. Staring at her own hands, she thought, weren't these the same hands that touched my idol yesterday? Confusion swirled as she pieced things together. Oh, last night it was him who brought her home. Suyu tiptoed out of bed, curiosity urging her forward. Pushing open the door, she froze. Xin Yanqing was in the kitchen, calmly making breakfast. In a rush, the dream's torrid scenes replayed in her mind, and her cheeks burned scarlet. Here I am, staying at his place, and in my dream I was coveting him. But then regret stabbed through her. Why didn't I seize that golden chance? All because I drank too much. Suyu quietly pulled out her phone, wanting to snap a candid shot of her idol cooking. The sudden click echoed far too loudly in the still morning. She jolted in panic, so embarrassed her toes nearly dug through the floor. Damn it, I forgot to mute my phone. As Xin Yanqing turned his head, she hastily posed, pretending it was just a selfie. Holding the phone up, she forced a casual smile. Morning, Dr. Shi, what a coincidence. Inside she was chanting, stay calm. If I'm not embarrassed, the awkwardness belongs to him. She glanced at her, replying coolly, coincidence? This is my house. Her face burned with shame. She coughed lightly. Well, thank you for letting me crash here last night. She pointed calmly. There are new toiletries in the bathroom. Suyu quickly answered, got it. The two soon sat down to breakfast together. With genuine gratitude, she said, Dr. Shi, thank you for helping me yesterday, especially in front of everyone. She tilted his head slightly, asking almost offhandedly, nothing else? Suyu froze. Huh. What else? Seeing her clueless expression, she realized she had forgotten everything from last night. He simply said, nothing. Eat. She obeyed sweetly, savoring the meal. Of course, even his cooking tastes amazing. That's just how perfect he is. Suddenly, a thought struck her. She looked up nervously. By the way, Dr. Shi, I can't hold my liquor. My family says I go crazy when I'm drunk. I didn't do anything to you last night, did I? She nearly choked, covering it with a laugh and a cough. Suyu leaned forward anxiously. Why are you choking out of nowhere? You okay, Dr. Shi?